This is episode 183 of the Collector's Quest podcast. In this episode, we're talking about the Wata Games population report. Does it affect you, Mr. Normal Collector? Is there anything unexpected on there? Is there anything interesting on there? Does anybody care? Will video game prices ever be the same? Probably. We're going to talk about it. Tell your mom about the show. Give us 5 stars on iTunes. Let's just get into it. Welcome back to another episode of Collector's Quest. I'm Tyler here with Johnny and Stefan. What are you guys talking about?
Talking about
Rancors.
Giant Rancor toys?
What, like the magic card?
No, the Star Wars
and this one's
monster.
a statue, not a toy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, 16-year-old who feels bad about calling his toys toys.
Well, no, it's legitimately a statue. Toys you can play with. This is just a solid object that has no movable parts.
It's a journal, not a diary.
Oh, wow. It's a non-articulating toy, so now it's a statue. Okay.
I mean,
and
kinda.
It's made of polystone.
I was ready to make fun of Johnny on this, but now he's brought me around. I'm suddenly in his camp.
Yeah, you think there's not a difference between toys and statues?
I am being facetious, but also you adults use them in the same exact way. They go in a display case. So
yeah,
they just
so
take up
all those
space.
little action figures. I mean, they're still action figures. It's not like I called my sideshow figures, statues. They're toys.
Speaking of sweaty adults that buy toys, do you guys want to hear about Comic-Con? I went last week.
You went to Comic-Con?
Comic-Con? Yeah. There's Comic-Cons happening?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Comic-Con.
I saw you there. Your name was on a wall for some reason.
That's right. The Comic-Con special edition. They're doing this they did this off-cycle San Diego Comic-Con, and it was good. It was nice that they did mandatory proof of vaccinations or negative tests within 3 days. But it was a mandatory masks while in the building, so it felt okay. It definitely was a pandemic convention. It was really weird for anyone who is familiar with San Diego. Hall H was used for registration, so it was weird because you walked in and the lights were on and nothing, was just this gigantic empty room. It was really odd. Hall H is generally where they do all the biggest panels, so all your Marvel panels and stuff. All the stuff you see on TV, all those panels are in Hall H, and it was used for ticketing and registration, and it was real weird. It was A through E or something like that. So basically 60% of the normal size of San Diego Comic-Con. But it was good. It was nice to be sort of back in the convention center and having there was still all the same stuff, but just less of it. So people were still cosplaying, but less. There was room to walk around in the aisles. It didn't feel claustrophobic or gross. I didn't feel like I could taste the people around me like I normally can at that show. It was 3 days over the weekend, and it was good stuff.
I did not even hear one peep about this. Not on social media. This is entirely new news to me.
No.
I saw Stefan post about it, and I'm like, I wonder where Stefan is.
I didn't even see Stefan post about it, and I normally see everything Stefan posts.
Creeper.
That's called being friends on Facebook. The only reason I'm even still on Facebook is because of fucking Tyler.
Hey, I got a phone. If you guys want to try to switch me over, now's the time.
Done. We can start texting immediately. That's not a hard swap for me.
I don't think I've ever been in a group text. Maybe Ada has added me to group text, but I definitely haven't initiated them. So you're going to have to do that for me.
I don't even know how to explain why. It's just a regular text. There just happens to be multiple individuals seeing it.
All right, just we can start texting. It's fine. We don't need to talk about it on the show. We could switch our mode of communication, and then when you can't reach me, you'll be like, "God damn, I gotta go back to Facebook."
Yeah, and I'll be going back to Facebook and messaging you, and you'll be like, "What?" And I'll be like, "God damn it, answer your text." All right. We've done all the rambling now. Are we done rambling? Anybody else got anything? I'm glad Comic-Con was good. I'm just actually stunned there was a weird Comic-Con that happened.
Heritage was there, and there were like 5 graded video games, and
Whoa.
that was pretty much it.
Any
Everything
Mario
else was-
3s?
No.
What?
Yeah, it was weird. All the like the big comic vendors weren't there. None of the like television networks were there. It was real weird. But there was a bunch
what's
of
the weirdest
graded
thing about
comics.
Comic-Con is that those people who try to sell comics there. It's like, what are you
Yeah,
even
right.
doing here anymore?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Kate was with me, and she's like, "Where are all the comic books?" And I'm like, "You sweet summer child."
I made some YouTube video recently, and I went looking for like a good picture of like a comic convention with just a bunch of people looking through comics, and I could not find a picture of a bunch of people digging through comics.
Yeah, that's not a thing anymore.
Okay.
Idiot.
Man, it's Comic-Con. What are you talking? All right, Johnny, did anything happen in the world of game collecting?
No.
All right, that's
I can
our
think
show.
of. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye.
Devin stripped to Comic-Con. Bye.
Yeah. No, I guess maybe a population report happened.
Oh yeah, there was everyone.
Yeah, so the
up in
U.S.
arms.
Government put out the census data, and it. Oh no, I'm sorry. Wata put out their pop report.
Yeah.
Whoa,
suck that.
the world
suck
is
it, all
on
you people who
fire.
said
Everybody
Wata
is
would
like,
never do it.
this is
Is that? I don't know what response I'm supposed to have. Am I supposed to be cheering about a pop report to prove for all those doubters and haters, or
all the haters
am I supposed
are
to be
eating
like
their
grossed
words.
out? am I grossed out now because there's a pop report and all the things I think are going to happen because of it? Like, what? How am I supposed to feel here? I don't like any of the possible outcomes. I'm going to go with indifference. I'm indifferent.
I'm pretty indifferent, Johnny, because it's kind of exactly what we thought it would be.
Yeah,
Weird.
I think it's an interesting data point that I don't know is correct, but an interesting data, and but that's like it's not. I don't think anyone. The only people who are like super excited are the people who have games on that list that are pop 1. Everyone else is like, okay, cool, like great.
Yeah, which is like a lot of junk. Like all right. Let me just can I give a quick rundown of the pop report, because definitely 90% of our listeners are not listening to this. What is a pop? That's an excellent question.
Thank you.
So the pop report is everything that Wata has graded. Sorry, it was basically going to be a Wata show for everyone. You could just turn it off now if you want. We're going to try to relate it to.
It's not how you market a podcast, Tyler.
But it's a list of everything Wata has graded and every grade it received. They only released it for sealed NES games right now, and then there's like 8 other games that they released information for. But people are basically chomping at the bit for anything, and this has obviously been the most popular thing. Well, you know what? This has been the most popular thing. I would bet anything. They're whenever they release like the PS2 numbers, they will be comparable, if not higher, than like NES. Just because there's so many more PS2 games out there.
In volume?
Yes.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure.
Oh, like over the long term, like 1,000,000%, it's going to be like 100 times more.
Well, and there's so many more. Even just the fact that there's so many more like FOMO individuals, like people who are like wanting to buy all the high end NES but can't, so they're just like, what can I buy? Like there's more people doing that than people with the deep pockets buying at the high end NES, right? So like you have more. I think you have more people trying to play in that space but can't, and so are like, what can I do for PS2, or like whatever. Yeah. So I think those numbers are going to be significantly larger.
All these numbers, whatever, are going to be super weird. Well, first of all, the last couple of years have been super weird, but it's been caught for a majority of this stuff. It was probably well over $100 to grade it, and like who is going to spend over $100 to grade some of this stuff? We could talk about the selection bias element to this in a second. Let me just give a rundown of what games are on here for the people that did not look at it. There are 150 Super Mario Brothers, 250 Super Mario 3s, and then like 100 Zeldas and Mario 2s and Zelda 2s. And then a bunch of A-list titles have like a few dozen copies.
Hold on. You forgot to mention Friday the 13th.
Oh my God. We're just going to mention, if I miss any point at any time, we have to go back and mention it. Yes, there are 100 Friday the 13ths, just a case pack game.
It's in the top 10 most
It is in the
rated
top
NES games.
10. It's above Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which
is
you can be
bonkers,
sure
'cause
that
so
every
many
copy of
people
Teenage
crave
Mutant Ninja Turtles on Earth got sent to Wata in the past 2 years. God, what they're selling for like tens of thousands of dollars. But then like all the like A-list games, like 10 to 50 for a lot of them, and then all the other junk is like 1 to 10. And almost every single NES game has been graded. The ones that have not been graded sealed are like real obscure or really rare. But we're gonna pick apart the
Hold
data.
on. I wanted to throw a few more things out. I really want to put this Friday the 13th in scale because it's like it's number 6 on the list. Maybe number 7, depending on how the next couple of grades go, but it's got the same amount of grades as Zelda 2. It was graded more than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like you said, more than Dragon Warrior, a game that was given out sealed to everybody.
Like literally every Nintendo Power subscriber at the time, which was a lot of people.
Yeah. Dr. Mario, more Friday the 13th than Dr. Mario's. Final Fantasies, Metroid, or Mike Tyson's Punch-Outs.
Also, quick note, the most common grade for Friday the 13th is 9.8.
Yeah.
So
also, like, just another couple of games to like throw out there. Wario Woods, which you're thinking, well, I mean, Wario Woods isn't that like rare, but it was it's an end of life game. You're like, oh, it's like maybe people didn't say, but that game was sealed, like cases of it. When I started collecting, Wario Woods was everywhere, and it's Mario ancillary because it came out at the end of the NES lifespan after the Super Nintendo was already there. So there was just tons of sealed ones around. It was basically the F-Zero player's choice of
because it was keep me honest, but it was the end of life game, right? Like for the American market.
Yeah, I believe it's the last one.
Last game also ever mentioned in Nintendo Power, Stefan. Come on, you know that.
Yeah. There you go. Also more than Star Tropics, a game which found sealed a lot. Kirby's Adventure, another like end of lifer. Like many games.
That Kirby's Adventure data we can go into, but they mixed up the Canadian and US ones for that. But yeah, obviously there's a ton more Friday the 13th than Kirby's out there.
So like more touch. There's just like a lot of games you just like, oh, like Star Tropics is a game they like basically handed out to everybody. So there should have been a lot of sealed of those around, right? Still more Friday the 13th. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, the people grading it and like the biases really don't line up on Friday the 13th versus like Wario or Metroid. So that's kind of out the window. It's such a weird, like Friday the 13th is a popular game, but I'm sorry. Like, I know I'm harping on this, but it's so weird for me to see this in the top 10 anyway.
It's going to be the weird thing you harp on for the entire episode. I could tell already.
Nope. I'm done. I'm done talking about it.
I
Come
would
back
guess
around.
So there are, I mean, all right, I'm not one of those guys who like, there's case packs of everything out there. We just need to go find them, guys. I would bet that Friday the 13th, well, first of all, it is definitely a case pack game, but I would bet someone who owned a bunch of case packs of that were just like, I'm going to send them all in because Wata everything to the moon. This is the time to get all this shit graded and get high.
Sure, but how many games are in a pack, in a case?
6.
6.
Yes.
So how many? So he had 20 case packs?
No, well, I mean, he might have had like 4 or 5 case packs, then the rest were everyone buying up all the cheap ones on eBay and immediately sending them to Wata.
Half.
Okay, so just to put this in perspective, the 10th most graded game comes in, and it's Dr. Mario, and that's 79. After that, at the 11th game, it's Final Fantasy, and it's a steep decline. It goes down to 62. When you get into the 15th most graded game, it's in the 50s. 18th, top 20, right? You're in the 40s, 42. So that's like, think about that. In the top 20 out of, over 700 unique titles on this list, because Sachin games for some reason are on here because someone gives a shit about that. You have 40 being the number for the top 20. So that's like, think about how big that number is, where Friday the 13th got more than double that. That's a remarkable number. That's
your Friday the 13th stonks are dropping, guys. If you have a Friday the 13th, you got to dump it yesterday.
60 of them. Sorry. Yeah, 58 of them are 9.4 or better.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah, I mean that reeks of case packs, right? Like,
yeah.
I think Tyler's right. I'm just saying, like, how many case packs had to be out there and who had them, and then like why? And they just went all in on this. So
Yep.
Interesting. Anyways, like I said, I'm done talking about Friday the 13th, but also that provides some context to what the top 10 list looks like for anyone who was curious and wasn't looking at a list.
Were there Zelda 2 case packs known out there? Because I was just looking at that
Yeah,
too,
there were.
and there's like,
I don't know how many,
29.6s, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Tim Atwood, I think, had stadium events and like soccer, and there's only one soccer on this list. I remember what a Zelda 2 when that sold for 30,000. Was it 30,000? Which, you know, that's probably so long ago. That was probably a 2020 sale I'm thinking of. There were people like losing their minds, like, what the fuck? Me and all my friends have Zelda 2s. What is going on? I don't remember who said that. I obviously don't have a sealed Zelda 2. Actually, I do. The original version of it, before it was ported to the 72-pin NES on the Famicom Disk System.
Oh, you know that the Famicom and the Nintendo are not the same system, right?
Yeah. So the original version of Zelda 2 is Famicom Disk System. NES version, genuinely a port.
Oh, okay. So the original NES version, though, is fine.
Yeah, you could have the first print NES version.
Yeah.
It's not the first
The one people care about.
It is indeed the one people care about.
No, I was gonna say I just kind of wanted to pose a general question about totals, like to you guys, like how now that we're seeing totals where like the most graded game being Mario 3, right? There's 237, like, and that's the top of the heap. That's the most a game has been graded. It's 237 times. How did those numbers resonate with you guys? Because for me, like, I was surprised that the high was not higher. Like just like how, like, I think Tyler alluded to it earlier. Like, Ninja Turtles is like one of the most common, or like in my head, it's been graded cajillions of times, and then to see it not, just be sitting just under 100, I was genuinely surprised. So I'm just kind of curious as to like from the totals perspective, like how surprised or not surprised were you guys by those numbers?
Stefan, I am not surprised at all. I will say, first of all, because there may or may not have been some weird Wata leaked data in the summer, and all the sealed numbers, at least in that leaked data, are like a dozen or two less than the numbers we currently have. So they disavowed that data. That data was like totally spot on. But otherwise, like, considering how many people have been in this market, and like, that there's just a bunch of people joining these Facebook groups who are not grading their own games. They're just like, what are the grading people sending to getting graded so I can go buy it on Heritage? Just the number of people that are in the market and how long Wata has been a company, like 8,000 NES games seems like the right number to me. I'm more surprised that everything has been graded in general. Like, there are a bunch of like 1 to 4s in the pop report, but I'm surprised that like, who sent in Jeopardy Junior Edition? Who sent that to Wata? And it's not
Jeopardy
like...
what?
Right? Johnny, do you think these numbers are super low?
No, I think these numbers are right. Let's dunk on Wata speed times for a minute. I bet there's 8,000 more that are still waiting to get out there, huh, guys?
Bam! Right. Got him.
They're still on Kenneth's desk.
Yeah. Fuck you, Kenneth. Work faster. No. These numbers seem about right for me. And, one, we told you that it was going to be Super Mario 3 was going to be the number one most graded game. We weren't wrong.
One we were wrong about, though, Johnny. Friday the 13th. Sorry.
I mean, if anybody, I'll give this show a little credit because we are one show that like actually likes Friday the 13th, and we talk about it probably more than it deserves. So, I would like to think that total represents us as influencers. I'm going to go with that. That was the one. That's the CQ spec pick of the week, Friday the 13th, because you're going to be able to get a graded one cheap because there's 105 of them. No, I think the totals look right. Some of the one-offs are weird. It'll be interesting. Like this pop report population, the population totals right now are just whatever. They are what they are. It will be more interesting to compare these totals to the next batch we get in like 6 months from now and see what that looks like.
See, I don't think that's a long enough time for Wata to grade shit. I think we have to look at it like a year from now because everybody is going to be like, oh my God, Caesar's Palace is Pop 1. I'm sending that in. We got to see what's still Pop 1 in a year.
No, you see, the beauty is so we have this data point. Like if we know exactly when this dropped and when it was up to date by, we can look at these totals. And then in 6 months, we can roughly gauge, how quickly they are grading games. Yes, they are grading more than NES games, but if you assume that NES is like, 20% of the load or 25% of the load, we can kind of guess what the load of sealed games is like going into Wata at a time. And then we can start to make some estimates.
I mean, they said that they're releasing the full Pop report early next year, or they're going to slowly release things up through next. So why don't we could wait. We could not just pretend that NES is their full market. We could just wait till they have all the other consoles.
I mean, yeah, of course. I'm just saying.
I'm not crunching that data. You can crunch that data.
Yeah, no problem. That's not a hard crunch. But what I'm saying is it's interesting to see that. And when we have all of it, obviously it'll be more interesting after we get like a couple months of data. Like really, I'd like snapshots at every month to see if it's consistent, if more are going out each month or less. I would like to see what their numbers kind of look like as an overall total. And then you could compare rates, like, are they getting more PS2 games out? Does that mean there's actually more PS2 games going in? Or are they easier to grade? Like, we can start to make some assumptions. That's when I'll be excited. Right now, these are just totals that we can look at and be like, that's cool. We know something now. I told everyone I'm not excited by Pop reports because I'm afraid of what it will do. And like, I will just let you guys know. One of the first things in the chat, Tyler said to me was, do I need to buy anything? Which is exactly my most feared response.
Oh yeah.
To the Pop reports. Like, do I need to go buy anything right now? Because, I worry about people, getting a little bit of FOMO and going crazy. So
I might have bought some.
Totals look right.
Are we expecting, or have they already? And I'm not paying attention. What about VGA? Like, are we expecting them to also drop a report at some point? Because that's like, I feel like that's.
They said they were going to, right? Like a couple months ago, they said like we're gonna. I think it was after, or maybe it was even like a month ago. They said, "Don't worry, we're gonna re-release our Pop reports," because they used to have them.
Mm-hmm.
They're revamping their website, and they said, I think it's. I forgot the exact. It's either soon or within like the next year. It could be that far out, or I saw that as a joke. They might have said 2022, and someone said December 2022 as a joke because Wata released this on basically the last day that they promised it would be out. Who cares about that? Once the VGA thing comes out, it's literally everyone's just going to argue that literally all those games have been crossed over, so nothing matters. Like it's.
Oh, that's right. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, no one is going to give a shit about
really
the VGA
bad data.
unless the numbers are higher than the Wata numbers.
Well, what they're going to care about is looking at all the Wata games that have ones and then comparing it to the VGA games.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair. The low.
So I think that's how they use it. I wanted to bring up something. Tyler, you actually asked if we care about this or thought it was interesting that the most common games are the ones that sell for the most and they are the most graded. I think that's dead on the money. Isn't that exactly what we said it would be? We said, hey, everybody. They need to make they need to make things look rare. And this is how you like drive prices in a market. Like it needs to be common enough that everyone can get it. You need to have, you really need to enact what the differences are on all these different titles enough that you can have a scattering to point out one being really rare to drive super high prices. And they need to be titles that people recognize and, have some relevance, basically using, their R's against them. And then be like, yeah, this is how you make something. But really, like for any of it to be relevant, it needs to be obtainable. So all these games that are in the top 20 are like some of the most obtainable NES games of all time. They're literally the ones everybody had.
Mm-hmm.
The only one like not in there that I'm like as confusing as in the top 20 to me is like Mega Man 2. Where's Mega Man 2? Why isn't it on? Why am I not seeing it?
Are there more graded Mega Man 6s than Mega Man 2s, Johnny? More of 6s and 3s?
Mega Man 3 is the first one.
Dude, there's no Mega Man 2s. Mega Man 2, Johnny. Gotta go spec. Go get one of those probably 24 graded Mega Man 2s, Johnny.
Yeah, 24.
Only 2 of them with the offer removed. Get them.
Yeah, so it's just way down the list. It's just, as far as like most common NES games and games everyone had, it's just like, it's one that is notoriously outside of that formula.
I mean, yeah, it's a game that people would send in if they had it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I think also a lot of what obviously 157 copies of Super Mario Brothers. It's a lot of selection bias because people are very clearly sending in the good stuff, which is the stuff they could sell for $10,000, or the nice stuff. So if you actually go through the condition numbers, like almost like the majority of games are like 8.5 and above. People are not sending in their crap, except for something like Super Mario Brothers 3. Where everyone is like, oh my God, I have a copy of Super Mario Brothers 3, let me send it in. So either that means that all sealed games are still pretty nice, which I don't think is the case, or people are only sending in their nicest stuff right now because that's what's getting the premium.
Let me just hit the people with some numbers real quick. Okay, games that register from 0 to 7. There are a total, out of that like 8,000 games, 809. So 10% of all graded games are a 7 or less. For instance, though, so that number is 809, and 9.6, there are 1,005.
Wow.
If you take just all the 9s, that's 5,000. There's 5,071 games that are 9s. So well over half the population is graded 9 or better.
Mm.
So your mint shit sucks. We don't know the seal grades or anything, but...
No, we don't know seal grades. I don't really care about that. That's not really relevant to what this overall is coming back at. I think it's interesting, that this much is out there. I also hate grading scales, like the minutia of 9, 9.2, 9.4, 9.6, 9.8. It's such a scam. It's such a scam to make more grades in 9s to make it seem better. But then there's only 8.5 and 8s. Like, where's my 8.6? Where's my 8.8?
There are grading companies for you, Johnny, that have like a 200-point scale, and they'll give you a 73.5 back as your grade. You can go grade with them.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that people don't want honesty in their grading. Like, and like as a grading company, obviously I don't want to, like, it behooves me and suits my best interest if I have a scale of 9 to 10, and there's like 10 numbers in between that where I can levy grades, because everyone wants a 9 or better. A 9 is a good number, 9.8, real good. 10, the best. But 8.5, everyone's like, it's 8.5. You start to feel less good about that. But the difference between an 8.5 and a 9.2 is probably not so great. Well, depending on who you ask. But
still only the 110, right?
Yeah, only 110. Super good game, Karate Kid. So, yeah. Anyways, I just wanted to like kind of show the inflation between 9 and 10, just so people recognize. And this is not exclusive to Wata. This is like all grading companies. That's just how it is done. And that's because 9s sell better than 8s. And that's why there are 5,000, more than half the population is in 9s and not, in lower grades.
And I think if we had VGA data, you would probably see that too, because before 3 years ago, like, people definitely were only grading the good stuff because the stuff was just out there way more. The sealed stuff, at least, anyway. I've seen. I want to bring up that I've seen basically 2 reactions. I've watched all the reactions to this on the internet, guys. I know, shocker.
Every reaction. On
all
the
of them.
Tyler's
there have been
everyone
2 YouTube videos that I know of, and the video game sage and Discord people. Everyone arguing. Everyone has an angle. Everybody was right, and everybody won. Reserved Investments, Johnny's favorite person, did a victory lap
the dumbest take ever
with this data, basically saying that all this stuff is super common because this is the floor. He looked at there was 22 Castlevanias, and he's like, you people think Castlevania is worth all this money. There are 22 of them, and there's 60 something Final Fantasies, and to him it's like, you guys, for this money, could be buying one-of-a-kind shit. You could be buying art. You could be buying documents. And you're buying fucking the best-conditioned, mass-produced stuff. You're all idiots. And then the other take is the sports card and comic people who are like, look at these fucking numbers. There's 200 Mario 3s compared to 10 trillion Charizards and Jordans out there. We're all going to be rich. So everybody looks at the same exact set of data, and they're both like, we won. We were correct.
Well... one, that guy is kind of his take there is really stupid. Because he fails to understand that competition drives part of the market, right? People like competing. They like to feel like you have a chance, and that drives some of the sales and some of the numbers. It brings people in. If you're just buying one of one stuff, you, Stefan, once it's bought, it's gone. There's no more doing anything with it. There, you can't hype it. You can be like, this is a one of one. You're like, yeah, it's art. Cool. It's one of one. This is a one of one document. Great. Who gives a shit? Like, I can't do anything about that. But you tell me that there's like this obtainable super grail Mario. Oh man, I might be able to go get that. I can compete in that space. That drives sales. That drives fervor. That makes people want to do something. It gives them a reaction rather than just shutting them down.
Yeah.
It's a dumb take and a sad point of view to have on it. Well, this stuff is so. It's when people like you, Tyler, get on your high horse and tell me that's not rare. This is rare, and you're like, nah, it's not really. That's not really how that works anymore. That's not how people are trying to describe things. It's like, cool. Then go buy the rare things. Go buy the one of one things, and then you can go have the one of one thing, and then you actually can't really be part of a community very much because if it's so limited and so rare, then how do you get people interested? There's plenty of things that are legitimately rare or hard to find, and they should be worth more money because they are one-offs. But they're not, right? They're not worth more than Mario's. Lots of protos. Hey, look at my Blockbuster World Championship, right? No one gives a shit about that game. I mean, people have started to, but
that Mario 3 proto tanked when it got resaled.
Yeah,
recently. Yeah.
So that's legit one of one stuff, right? Should be more expensive than all this other stuff, but it isn't. Why not? The psychology just isn't there to back that up. You can say, oh, well, you would be smarter to this or that. And maybe you're just smarter to go where the money is initially. The smartest thing would have been to be in games like 10 years ago, buying up the sealed stuff and being some of the first people in line to sell this sealed stuff and have made your money and then taken this and walked away. Or to have invested in Apple 10 years ago. You can do a lot of what ifs and tell people what the better thing is to have done, through the lens of hindsight. It's a ridiculous thing to say.
All right, there's a lot to unpack with your comments. First of all, you said there's no community around art, which I love because that means Stefan has no friends.
I did not,
which is really what you said.
I did not say that. I said
so
you can't build much of a community because you can't. Is it a small insular community? Sure, there's a few of people. One, the prices aren't really friendly to bringing in people in. Why? Because you can't get in because there isn't enough to go around.
Castlevania is not a friendly price.
I'm not saying it is, but there are things like the Castlevania. Right there. Are you going to say that the art community is bigger, like the video game art community is bigger than the video game collecting community? Are you trying to make this argument?
No, I'm not making that argument.
Okay, so does my point stand?
Which point? That you get more community by buying sealed games? Can you not get that? You can build a bigger community. You can bring more people in. There's more people walking through the door of video game collecting than there is of art collecting because of accessibility. Making yourself an exclusive, inaccessible area appeals to some people. It appeals to some people, but that side group that you can never get through the door, the D23 door, you're never walking through, or Club 23. God, I forget the name of it.
33.
But yeah, thank you. That's cool. It exists, but I can never go there, so it doesn't really matter. It's super hard to get in. So what am I going to do? I don't get your point. I can't be a part of it.
If you're saying that sealed games should be even more valuable, they're already at inaccessible prices to the vast majority of people.
I'm not saying some of them are. Some of them aren't. They got very expensive lately, but you can still go get them. If you have money, they're still accessible. That's the other thing about one of ones. It doesn't matter how much money you have. Sometimes if it's gone, it's gone.
Yep.
It's gone, it's gone. Unless you can talk someone out of it. And so you're talking about accessibility. That's a Castlevania is way more accessible than, if I wanted to go buy Stefan's Super Castlevania 4 cover art. He's got one of that. I'm going to have to talk him out of that. How much money am I going to have to pay for that?
All of it.
Or yeah, exactly. All of it.
All of the money.
But
how
for $1 million,
how does that compete against? I can go buy a Castlevania. Maybe I can't get a sealed one, but it's not sealed games are a subdivision of the greater collective of collecting games. And you can draw interest into the video game market in general because games are still accessible. Even if it's card only. We've talked about these tiers of accessibility. I'm not saying I've never recommended collecting sealed games. I think it's an asinine prospect. And, especially with the prices are the way they are, like, unless you're an investor, that's not really a world you want to play in. But I'm saying, like, that's still more accessible than art.
Yeah, well, and people also want something that they can see, appreciate, and that's with things that, with mass-produced stuff, they can track, like, oh, okay, this game in this grade has sold, half a dozen times over the last year or whatever, and they can kind of track their investment. It's really difficult to do that with art because, it's like, okay, like, to Johnny's point, it's one of one, right? So it might sell, and then, I don't know, was it going to sell in 10 years, 20 years, right? Again, right? Whenever that art collector has decided to bow out or whatever. So it's very difficult to kind of track the appreciation of any one piece of art.
Sure,
right,
I'm the one who brought up the art. By the way, he would tell you to go buy a first edition book or the Constitution or something, or a Carson City Morgan Silver Dollar. Yeah, I know he likes art too.
All of those are the same answer, though. If you can just distill his thing down to, you should be buying things that are more exclusive, one of ones if you can.
But no,
because all these people who buy mass-produced stuff is dumb, which is a thing he's been saying since he started. But he buys a bunch of mass-produced stuff.
Johnny, I looked up how many Morgan Silver Dollars are graded. It's like if there's over 5 million that are graded. So.
Okay.
Sorry, 5 million?
Yeah, I cannot believe how many graded coins there are. Wata, what the 8,000 NES games? Are you kidding me? Ramp up that production, man.
I didn't realize.
And hasn't he recommended buying some of these coins?
Oh, yeah, he loves.
Also, there's like, you can go buy like an early Roman coin, which is thousands, like 2,000 years old, I think they are. Some of the earliest coins, or maybe 1,000. They're not that expensive.
Yeah, you got to go get those investment grade ones. You can't get the ones that people found buried in jars in the ground that there's a bunch of multiples of, Johnny. Come on.
Yeah. But those are like all hand pressed and, like mainly,
right.
Lots of them are like
nobody
unique
cares.
From the time. Yeah, no one cares. But those are like one of ones. That's like, or just being rare. Like just being rare isn't enough.
Yeah. All right.
It's never been enough.
I mean, I fall kind of in the middle. I know, Johnny, you're just very anti-reserved investments, which is funny. Because I enjoy listening to him so much. He does get a bunch of things wrong. Like when he lumps together those 22 Castlevanias, and I'm talking about like $1 million Castlevanias, like how many of those Castlevanias are hang tabs? I don't have the numbers in front of me. I would guess like 4 at most are hang tabs.
I mean, we could go to the
We're going to the list, guys. Castlevania, rarest Castlevania game in NES. There are 2. There are 2 hang tabs. All right. So... And like him lumping those into one game, he like mentions it, but it's also like, but the one people wanted there are the hang tab ones.
I don't understand what his thing, like, also the dude hates Wata. Like he hates Wata, right? So like he publicly went into...
He flip-flops. He bought into the Carl Jobst video a lot and then he was like really pro Wata, but anti them for not releasing the pop reports. And now he constantly calls them unethical without directly naming them, but it's very obvious he's talking about them.
Like, how am I supposed to take that seriously? And like, again, for all these people who get mad, like, I'm not defending Wata. I don't give a shit about graded games. In fact, I don't like them. Like, I'll go one better. I don't like them. It's not for me. But I get forced to take a stance on things, and here we are.
You could just be in the middle like me, Johnny, and not have such a...
No, you're not in the middle. Because you, like, also, like, trying to play both sides of the fence is, like, ridiculous.
Well, I'm not playing both sides. I think people...
Oh, well, I kind of like him, but also I'm get out of here.
I think he's very entertaining. Stefan does too. Stefan watches every video. So does, like, Andrew Brim. You're the one missing out, Johnny.
You know what? I fell off the wagon a little bit. I don't watch every video.
Oh, my God. He doesn't put out that many.
I do. What are you talking about?
Ever since the pandemic, do you know how much YouTube I watch? I've consumed so much damn content. I just sit at home. I'm like, I got 14 hours. Let's watch 14 hours of YouTube backlog and then go find some more shit to binge. I'm like a 5-year-old.
I want to just throw this out there. big ups to Tyler for putting me in his YouTube family. I could never go back. It's so much better without the goddamn ads.
Oh, yeah.
My life is so improved, Tyler.
Right?
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, at first you probably thought like, oh, what's 5 seconds? And now that you have it, you're like, I can't go back.
I did. And I was wrong. And also it weirdly encourages me to watch more YouTube now. I don't know how that works, but
it's a win-win for them probably. So
yeah, not paid advertisement, but I was like, holy shit, this made my life better. So thank you, Tyler.
Yeah.
Also, just some more interesting stuff since we're talking about Castlevania. Only 2 hang tabs and only 3 of the round seals. So are in that 22.
Rare.
Most of them are ovals, and it's funny because a bunch of them are like, you know how high 9s are like most of the grades? With this oval, it's not. Like there's 3 6.5s, 3 7s, 2 7.5s, 1 8. Like out of the 17 oval seals, you have 6, 8, 9, 10 of them are under a 9.
You can go get the original version of Castlevania on Famicom Disk System for like a few $100.
Thanks, Tyler. I thought we weren't doing this bit. Like, do you ever get tired of that one, or
no? I love the
much?
games that are genuinely ports, Johnny.
Okay.
So I want to bring up, since you're harping on poor reserved investments here, who is like 75% of the way to kind of understanding the sealed market. Don't criticize my number there. The raw numbers here, they don't mean anything. So both sides are claiming that one is apparently super high, which even objectively, I don't agree these numbers are super high. Even if they're what I expected, like 2 Castlevania hang tabs. Come on, that's fucking rare. But at the same point, the numbers are meaningless without knowing how big the market is and what the demand is. And like, obviously there's going to be demand for Super Mario Brothers 3, and obviously more than 200 people in the world would want a really nice copy of Super Mario Brothers 3, but then you have to basically spread that demand out across the whole market. How many people are out once that copy of Mario 3 hits $5,000 or $10,000, and they're just going to buy a $40 really nice complete in box somewhere? Maybe what's a nice complete in box Mario now? 60? I have no idea.
I don't know.
But
I'm missing one Mario 3 variant that I want. That's all I know.
What I'm saying, Johnny, is let's get into it. You can't fucking compare this to comic and sports populations, because it is the tiniest part of the market looking at just the sealed games. You're pretending that the other games don't exist and that people wouldn't use them as a substitute. Or even, the primary way to collect, because 99.9% of game collectors only collect complete in box or cards.
I agree with you.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't like, I told you, I feel just whatever about these numbers. It's just like, it's interesting to see right now, but like there are some things to glean from this, but we're not like, I don't know how to make predictions or, draw a curve or anything yet. I need more data. We need more time. And like you said, knowing like what the actual market looks like would go a long way in proving or disproving what we know. I did want to bring up one thing about Super Mario 3, though, before we move on.
Yes.
Only 16 of that 237 are left, bros.
Yep.
Yep, was like 15 to 20%. And I think when we did our episode, we said it was about 10%. So that seems to be in line, because you would expect there to be fewer of the earlier copies. Yeah, sure. Go get your left, bros, Johnny.
Or go get your right, bros, US dash code 1s. Only 10 of those graded.
Whoa. Okay. So one thing, while we're talking about Super Mario Brothers 3, there are people who pushed this like my TM with the seal quality with the TM instead of an R, the rare right, bros. Is that a thing? Where is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Was that Super Mario Brothers 3? Okay. So there are a lot fewer of the seal equalities with the TMs for Super Mario Brothers 3 than are. Like, oh my god, who cares? Oh, you know what? I mean, compared to the rest of the numbers, I guess those are lower, but it's still a right, bro.
Sure, but also who cares? Like that's true. It could be the most rarest version, but also who gives a shit?
I thought people were hyping the Super Mario Brothers, which also has that seal of quality TM versus R variant, and those numbers are basically the same. So
yeah, those are very in line with each other. I mean, when really people should be, hyping that gloss sticker seal. Right, hang tab. That's
good God, there's only one of those, Johnny.
Oh, wow.
Whoa!
I bet it's worth $3 million.
Yeah, I bet Rich Lecce wouldn't sell it for that. Let's be real. Super Mario 64 sold for 1.5 million, which I realize like that price has tanked since then, but he still wouldn't sell it for that.
Well, the only way we really know how much he would sell it for is I think if maybe we take him on Pawn Stars and have him
he said
turn
he'd
down an
go
offer.
as low as $1 million on that. One of the funniest lines in Pawn Stars history.
You guys managed to drum up my least favorite
we did
point
it
in this entire hobby. Yeah,
Okay.
my eyes immediately glazed over.
Oh my god, I'll bring you back in with comic books. All right. Well, before we get into the individual games, I want to go back to the comic analogy because I did have my 1 point of data here.
Let's
lost.
talk about the Action Comics. How many Action Comics are graded? Number ones.
I don't know, a few dozen. What are we going to go to Go Collect, Johnny?
No, you can just go to.
If Mario is the action number, or Super Mario is the action number one, shouldn't we know how many action number ones are actually graded? And
anyway,
all grades.
they're
75.
Okay. So what are you saying?
Nothing. I'm just saying. There's a lot more Marios than Action Comics number.
There's a
ones
lot
graded.
more sealed Marios than Action Comics ones. Period.
Yeah.
The game I looked at was Hulk 181 because it's almost directly analogous to Super Mario 3. It's extremely common and extremely valuable because everyone wants it. There is something like 170 Hulk 181 9.8s, and there are already more sealed Mario 3s. And I realize the number of like really nice collectible Mario 3s is closer to like 70, but the number will increase with time. We're definitely at the ground floor of whatever this pop report says. Hulk 180, the last Hulk 181 that in 9.8 sold in summer for $84,000. And we've definitely seen Mario 3s already sell for more than that. Even though in the tippy toppest condition, the Hulk 181s are actually rarer. And that's just a difference in how the people see the market, because the reserved investments of the world see the market as these sealed games are just the best condition of this mass-produced thing, and the people just looking at the sealed pop reports, the sports guys, are like, there are only 200 copies on planet Earth, and the complete in-box ones might as well not exist.
But you should tell them the total graded number of Hulk 181s, in the Go Collect census, is 15,000.
Is that it? So
that's it. Only 15,193 Hulk 181s have been graded.
It is one of the most graded comics of all time.
Yeah. And that does not account for how often this book is bought and sold, like that aren't new grades. So that's just another thing for people to factor. A lot of comics get graded and are bought and sold. I mean, because once they're graded, they're not always being regraded. It happens once in a while, but that's not that common. So, these 15,000, how many have actually sold? How many times is Hulk 181, a graded Hulk 181 sold? It's a lot more than 15,000 is my point.
I do have another question for you guys, actually, that I've been thinking of while we're talking. Do you feel like there's going to be an immediate effect on the auctions?
Oh, there's auctions going on tonight. There's nothing.
As in, like the next Heritage auction is going to do blank because of the pop report. Do you feel like there's going to be an immediate effect in one way or another?
I think there could be. I think by when it was dropped and that they hope there's going to be.
I think numbers will be higher for two reasons. One is because there are basically two reactions besides like reserved investments reaction is pretty much an outlier. Either the numbers are about what people expected, or there are people who are like not really keeping track of how many sales there are for certain things, how long this market has existed, how many people are in all these Facebook groups, and the numbers are way lower than they expected. No one besides reserved investments looked at this data and said, oh my God, there's so many more than I expected. There's a couple guys on like video game stage like, oh, 200 Marios, Mario 3 is going to zero. But I don't think they're seriously participants in the market. So for the most part, I think the people buying stuff will see this and see all the random ones and think anything I can get my hands on sealed is something I need to get my hands on right now. So I bet we see prices bump up.
To answer a little more, Stefan, I think like we may not see a direct, like a super big impact now, but I think we're definitely going to see the people who are going to start going after the zero and the ones, you know, especially if a one's got a bad grade. I think we'll start to see more of those trickle in, because now they can start advertising as like, you know, first one graded, you know, first 9.8. I think we're going to see more of that stuff start to happen. So I think that will have an effect on some of the prices, and games that we just haven't seen sell will start to sell, because like a few of them have pop zeros or just bad scores or pop 1 and 2, you know. So I'd be like, I just look at how comic books are sold, and they're like, only, you know, 44 in population, you know, only 2 in this grade. So that kind of marketing is now coming to video games. Woo! Right. So I think
I'm getting us up to the minute data here, guys, because we are definitely the first people reacting to the population report after this Heritage auction just ended 2 hours ago. Bayou Billy sold for $360. All Pro Basketball sold for $1,300, which maybe there's someone on the cover. I think that might be a low pop game. A Styanax, $234. I mean, if these prices are significantly higher because of the population report, I'm not seeing it. Maybe it'll affect like the super high end stuff or something, but I mean, even then, that's the stuff there's the most of. 21,000 for a random oval seal Super Mario Brothers. Is that about in line with what they've been selling for?
Oh, good.
I mean, these prices seem like, I would look at these prices and see, yep, that's Heritage Auctions for you. So it doesn't seem like they're way higher.
Doesn't Bayou Billy have kind of like a lot of them graded?
No idea, Johnny. This was an oval seal. Are there round seals Bayou Billy? This feels like that's a round seal game. Anyway,
27 Bayou Billies, and they don't the 27 total graded, and there's no like drop down, so there's no like distinction of
So I don't think, I mean, no one went crazy and said like I need to corner the market on every game. I mean, there's also the thing that like this obviously isn't every sealed game out there. What I bet we see premiums for, or like there's one 9.8 challenge set Mario 3, which most people would look at and be like, okay, it's the challenge set. But now you can market that as it's the one 9.8 challenge set. So stuff like that's definitely going to get a bump. But obviously that was going to happen with a pop report, because spreading out those grades and making them seem rarer is the point of the pop report.
Right. You want to go into pop zeros? I'm running out of steam on
pops. Shut up, Johnny. We gotta. Pops are great. Everybody loves pops.
Shut up, Johnny.
I get told that a lot. Less
I don't know why
than I should be.
All right, I went through. I realized I don't have like just a plain text list of NES games, which is, Johnny, why we should totally build a website of just plain text lists of all the consoles that we like. So I actually used like the 1997 Etler list, and I went through and I one-on-one compared with the pop report. These are all your games with pop zeros, because Wata doesn't tell you about the pop zeros. Asterix, that's a PAL game, right? Gary Kitchen's Battle Tank, Best of the Best Championship Karate, Bubble Bath Babes, I'm not sure if they can grade it, but there is a graded Hot Slots. Casino Kid 2, Death Race, obscure-ass unlicensed game, Faria, Crazy Creatures, Last Action Hero, Magician, Mermaids of Atlantis, Nigel Mansell's World Championship Racing, the game that I predicted on the Get the Greg Games Discord there will be Pop Zero of and is going to the moon. Get your Nigel Mansell's. Peekaboo Poker, Pro Sport Hockey, obviously like the kind of the stereotypical rare NES game no one cares about. Puzzle, Roundball, Secret Scout, Sesame Street 123/ABC, another one a lot of people guessed would be a zero. Solitaire, Times of Lore, Johnny, Hidden Gem, guaranteed.
Yeah,
Ultimate League Soccer and Wacky Races. And everything else, there's at least one. Stadium events, there's 5 of. There's like 3 little Samsons, I think. Just a bunch of weird shit. Like people, like there's a Chubby Cherub. There's a Ninja, not Ninja Kid. What's the... Yeah, Ninja Kid, just like the rare stuff, there's at least one of. So, how do you feel about those zeros? I sent the list to Braveheart, and he's like, oh yeah, I have a bunch of those.
Yeah, obviously. Braveheart has everything, especially in NES. You mentioned that Faria, there's one on eBay, no map. Faria, the map was a mail away.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
That's why the map is expensive. Like back in the day, old collectors like, man, that Faria map. Oh God, got to get that Faria map. I was one of those people. Remember when we talked about like one thing we regret not having yet, and that's like still obtainable. The Faria map is one of those things that I've always been like, man, why don't I have the?
Oh, there's one on eBay. What are you doing? It's only $300.
Yeah, because it's like $300, and I don't want to spend $300
there's two of them
on
eBay. Come on, this is easy stuff.
Yeah, one for $299, best offer.
That's pretty cool.
Not interested. It's been there for like 6 months because I like look at it occasionally. And it's on my eBay save search.
Sold a copy of
it.
Wow, Faria's a $150 game. Was more than $150. A copy with the map and manual sold for $300. So that means the map would have been like $150 of that. So I guess the maps are overpriced.
Yeah, no, I always hope I'm going to find one that somebody doesn't know and they just put the map with. And I'm always the guy who misses that auction. So
some low pop sealed stuff I'm just noticing has sold on eBay for significant buy it now prices in the last 24 hours. A copy of Dusty Diamonds here. Buy it now for $2,000.
Dusty Diamonds.
Got some Dusty Diamonds for you.
Our Patreon, SNK 2D Forever.
Yeah, it is a Pop 2. My Dusty Diamonds are a Pop 2. Just so
yeah,
buddy. I'm going to say that my sealed Dusty Diamonds, both of them, are the best in the world.
Somebody pulled the trigger on like an $800 Quicks because it's Pop 3.
So I've got the sales of what's sold in the first couple hours. I was hoping it would be more. Like, the Pop Report dropped and it was kind of like expected if you've been paying attention to this. So it wasn't like anything crazy. I was hoping like someone would buy every Wata game on eBay or something dumb like that.
Or every raw sealed game. Yeah.
I think the timing is poor, right? Like you're competing against all the holiday shopping, Black Friday and Cyber Monday. That's when you put it out. If a cynic would say, Wata, if your goal is to sell games and get them graded like we know you are because you're in collusion with everybody, then you should have dropped this before all that, not during it.
I think people reacted more rationally than I expected. Not that I expected, more rationally than I hoped. Because like one game that I had my eye on, Firehawk, I think is a Pop 3, which is just this random game that is super common. It's like $100 sealed, one of the most worthless NES games. And even that, people are like, Pop 3, no one cares about Firehawk. I'm not buying those sealed Firehawks. In order, I'll just give you the 10 games that sold in the first 2 hours after the Pop Report dropped. It was Codename Viper, $350. Dirty Harry, $329. That had a B+ seal, I think. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, $3,000. Ghostbusters 2, $2,700. Ninja Gaiden 3, $2,400. It's like a Pop 8 or something. It was like kind of rough raw. I'm not spending $2,400 on shrink wrap on Ninja Gaiden 3, but I'm mad. I want it. Rescue the Embassy Mission, $300. Eliminator Boat Duel for $700. Muppet Adventure for $800. And Bible Adventures for $500.
Not just Bible Adventures, but the Pop
Bible Adventures. Really? Wow.
Yeah, because the game is Pop 5, and 4 of them are the version that is not.
Neat, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Are there more Bible Adventures out there? I thought I know people have bought all this weird new old stock Wisdom Tree stuff, so I would have figured there would be more Bible Adventures.
There's probably, I mean, that may be selection bias, right? Because there's only 5 graded copies of Bible Adventure.
But do we know if it's red, blue, or black heart inside? Oh yeah, there's a sealed one on eBay for $180. Why is no one buying it? Is it resealed?
I think it's resealed.
Looks kind of resealed. It's pretty shiny, right? But I mean, it's unlicensed, so who knows? All right.
Yeah. So who knows?
Yeah.
Probably
gotta go ask Josh. One watched in the last 24 hours. By the time this airs, it's gonna be gone, guys. Go get it. Anyway, so Johnny, as you mentioned, I looked at these Pop Zeros and I made some purchases. It wasn't because I thought that...
Oh, did you?
It wasn't that I was panicking that the stuff that's Pop Zero sealed is going to be rare, complete in box as well. It's because I was one step behind that, thinking that the people who saw this would immediately go and buy up all the low Pop sealed stuff on eBay, and I wanted to be ahead of them. Also, 50% of it was that I was looking at this data within 2 minutes of it dropping, and I just feel like I'm so early to this. I gotta do something. I gotta buy something with this new information that I have, right? And I went and
Right. You FOMO'd their, you pre-FOMO'd their
looking
FOMO.
up
I got
almost any of the Pop Zeros. A lot of them they're like $400 games. I mean, like Faria, Pro Sport Hockey. It's not like something I could just go and be like, oh yeah, let me just go get one of those. Round Ball, Johnny.
Should have bought that Faria. That Faria was probably
there was one boxed copy of Round Ball. I had to buy a separate manual for it. I bought the copy of Round Ball on eBay, and there was also Spelunker, which the Pop Report actually started. That started as a Pop Zero, and then an hour and a half in, they added that to the Pop Report. It was the only game they added. Super weird. Anyway, it was originally a Pop Zero, and there was only one boxed copy on eBay that was like $40 after I got a manual for it. So I also got a Spelunker.
Nice.
Here's
you have a Rygar?
I don't know. Do I? Seems like a game I would have.
Like if you have a Rygar in a box and you take it next to that Spelunker and you put them next to each other and you see that those boxes are very close to the same thing.
I'll do that once I get it.
Here's an interesting FOMO since that happened after the that shortlist that you mentioned, Tyler, is a $6,000 buy it now for Marble Madness in 9.6. For that variant, there is one in that grade, so it was a Pop
Nice.
1 purchase on eBay.
I mean, not nice, out of your
Is that
mind,
you, Tyler?
insane, but. Thanks for getting that data point stuff, because I literally was just refreshing eBay right after this dropped. So I guess people are still spending the big money. They're looking for those hidden gems in the Pop Report, as you might say, Johnny.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. No, it's what I expected, but also, is it weird to say that it was more boring than I expected it to be?
I was hoping for more drama. Even like the discussion threads, I got like some interesting tidbits, but nothing mind-blowing.
All right. Okay, anything else we want to say about Pop Reports? Anything else you want to like go over on it, or can we like be like, here's your initial take on Pop Reports?
I mean, yeah, I could bring up some games, Johnny. Double Dragon, 30 Double Dragons. Someone
talk about
this was like the first point someone made, and I noticed it too. 30 Double Dragons, evenly split between the Circle Seal and Oval Seal, and like the Circle Seal Double Dragons have been selling for like tens of thousands of dollars. And I'm biased because I think Double Dragon is a bad game and beat 'em ups is a bad genre, and I've not understood why this game has been selling for so much. I thought it would be like super rare. What is up with Double Dragon? Someone tell me. Because I mean, all right, $30, like in an objective sense, yes, that's not a lot graded, but who cares about fucking Double Dragon? There are more Ubisoft, Indiana Jones, and The Last Crusades graded than Taito, and I'm sure that's selection bias. I just thought that was super interesting. It might be like one or two more, but I mean, obviously the Ubisoft one is way rarer, right?
Yeah. I mean, also, some people still don't realize that there's two different versions of that same game.
Just like Wata when they lumped together the Canadian and American Kirby's Adventures, which is the one like really kind of weird.
Whoops.
I mean, obviously this is a preliminary thing. That's like the one big mistake on the Pop Report. Because if you want to talk about a case pack game next to like Wario's Woods, it would be those French Canadian Kirby's Adventures, which were like $20, $40.
Oh yeah,
I know
they
cases.
everywhere.
I saw a case sold for $200, probably 2019. And then I'm an idiot. I spent like probably $150 on a graded copy, Johnny. I know it's stupid, but I wasn't gonna
$150 on shipping for some Japanese games.
I've also got a brand new Famicom version, the original version. If you want to talk about that, that definitely cost me way less than $150.
Except for the shipping. You're like, oh man, I bought this game, but now I have to justify the shipping cost, so I got to go buy 44 more games.
That's the thing. You just constantly buy lots of 20 at a time. Not lots, but you just always have 20 games sitting in Japan waiting to be shipped to you, Johnny. And then like one game arrives at the warehouse like a little bit too late to make your shipment, and they're like, I've got one game there, time to go buy 19 more.
That's how they get you. They actually just have your name flagged. They're just like, always break up this guy's shipment.
Also, I mean, because you have to deposit your money in advance. When you lose an auction, like that money's just sitting there. So I lost a big auction recently, And now I've just got like $400 sitting in that Zen Market account. And it's like, oh, I got $400. What can I get in Japan?
Sweet. So when I finally need something from Zen Market, I can be like, Tyler, go buy this. And you won't be like, but then I have to deposit money into my Zen Market account wallet.
No, Johnny, you go do that.
No, I like it better when you do it.
All right.
Stefan, you got any weird things you want to add to this? Tyler, do you have any more?
I was just perusing eBay just to see like how many for new listings, just to see how many people are now adding highest graded or like referencing the data now.
Population.
It is a lot.
Oh, weird. Huh. It's like I knew that would happen months ago. Yeah,
Yes.
all right.
The funny
immediately.
I like when if people put like Pop 1, or I'm looking at this Excitebyte Pop 3, and it's like population 3 either in this like very specific variant or like in this variant in this grade, to the point where it's like it's an NFT. There's only one of this particular copy in the world. Oh
shit, there's a sealed copy of Jeopardy.
Yeah, Pop 0.
I'm so excited.
Let's go grade a bunch of games that are like in really bad condition, sealed ones, where basically the whole box is destroyed and the only thing keeping it together is the shrink wrap, and get like a 3.2, and which is a grade that doesn't exist. And then we can talk about how it's the only one in this grade.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it? Josh Hamblin, maybe? Someone graded
all those mold carts.
Besides the mold one, there's one copy. What's the stupid fighting game? Killer Instinct? There's like a 0.5 C plus of that just it's just full of dirt. Like the inside of the shrink wrap is full of dirt. Like people grade low things as memes.
Back when it wasn't horrendously expensive.
I think some of these people spend so many thousands of dollars grading that like sending in one meme game doesn't.
Yeah, I mean they're looking at the price they spend monthly on Wata, and they're just like, oh, what's one more? Who gives a shit?
Speaking of that, I think now we will see. We can't tell what's genuinely rare yet, because I think a lot of people, or not a lot of people, but someone is going to start buying up all the Pop 1s they could find and sending them in. And so we could see what actually remains Pop 1, like probably Ninja Kid. My favorite rare game to bring up. I don't know. Yeah, like Chubby Cherub, stuff like that, and the stuff that people just haven't sent in because it's dumb as shit.
I did notice that there are a couple that are like genuine, like to the OG, genuinely important and rare games that are also very low population, like
Flintstones.
Flintstones is one. Little Samson is Pop 3. Like I was genuinely surprised at that.
Yeah, it is nice to see like some of the stuff that like people like know about but didn't necessarily care about, but like old set collectors said, oh, these games are rare, and then not see 1,000 of them in the Pop report.
Yeah, that would have made me sad.
So also the stuff that the more older collector people are interested in, that's the stuff that's more likely to also still be a VGA though, especially if it's like in collections and like they've had it for 10 years. They might just be like, why would I spend $200 crossing this to Wata? I'm just going to keep it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
but
there's
who knows?
also
It's all speculation.
There's also the factor that like those aren't like big names, so they're not going to move. Like Little Samson is a big name to us, but it, to a lot of the sealed investors, that's a game that doesn't matter. I am surprised about Flintstones because just name recognition of Flintstones should drive more. Mm-hmm. But I guess if you can't find it, you can't find it.
Yeah.
3 sealed stadium events, all in 9.0 and above. I thought there were 5. I guess there's 5 complete in box. Is that the same amount as Little Samsons? That's the same amount as Little Samsons. Actually, the stadium events are in better grades than Little Samsons because there's an 8.0 Little Samson. If you had a sealed Little Samson, you think you'd send it in.
I think so. Here's one you didn't expect. We'll cover some fun ones, and then we'll get out of this. But right. Action 52, 23 graded Action 52.
Yeah, I saw that too. That's more than I thought. I thought that game. I don't know where these games come from. But doesn't that seem like a lot?
Yeah.
Compared to the rest of these numbers.
Here's a number also confusing to me. Amagon 11. A game that I forget exists on a daily basis.
Oh, yeah.
Someone graded 11 of those. Like, wow.
Wait, is Amagon on Atari? Is that the same Amagon?
I think so.
No, what's the Atari game? Amadar? Am I thinking of Amadar? Oh man, I don't know. I can't
have
bring
no
this
idea.
game
It's
to.
just-
I'm thinking of Amanda.
It's just a surprising number for a game that like you're like, oh yeah. It's like any game that has the oh yeah that exists reaction. When I see it, like I'm just surprised to see more than 1 or 2 graded.
Yeah.
Surprise game also that has like a number but not nearly as high as I thought it would be. Bionic Commando, only 20 graded on Bionic Commando.
Really,
I'm kind of
compared to the
surprised.
rest of that seems like that's in like the upper echelon of NES that people have said.
I guess so.
I'm a little bit surprised.
Bubble
that-
Bobble Part 2, only 3.
What are you
I'm a
surprised
little-
of, Steph?
No, I said I'm a little bit surprised that like some low pop stuff that like arguably like there's like trash copies of it, like low grade but sealed stuff is actually sitting on eBay. Like I'm looking at this copy of Phantom Fighter that is rough, but it's Pop 3 and it's sitting here at $250, and I'm just surprised that like people aren't FOMOing the trash on the low pop stuff.
Yeah, considering like the money that gets spent on just like the dumb money that gets spent on the Castlevanias and Final Fantasies and shit, like I can't believe there's not someone also buying up trash. Yeah. Like what would be me going through like a dollar bin and buying like, oh, this is some randomly rare thing for $1. Let me go get that. Here's some randomly rare low pop NES game for $250. Let me just add that to my portfolio, and I could buy 1,000 of those instead of buying my next Super Mario 3 or whatever. But
you want another? Here's another fun one for you guys. Cybernoid, the fighting machine. 19 of those are graded.
Isn't that one of like the stereotypical most common NES sealed games?
I mean, probably, but it's also a game that I'm like, oh yeah, that exists.
Yes, very much.
How many? One thing.
Destination
that I'm
Earth Star. Any guesses on how many Destination Earth Stars were graded?
19.
Stefan, you want to see if you can do better?
32.
26 is the answer.
Stefan, do you have a point to make besides listing a game and the number next to it?
I was looking at Impossible Mission 2 because that one I know for a fact that there are actively pallets of that game.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that it's 50 copies. I guess there's also a variant that I'm not aware. What's this? Impossible.
I don't know
Mission
what that
2
sticker
AVE?
thing is.
AVE versus SCI.
Oh,
Who made it?
Yeah,
they list those separately? Oh my god, they list those separately.
Yeah.
I guess the SEI ones are the ones there's pallets of.
Yeah.
But so that's weird because that is another one of those stereotypically worthless, everybody knows there's a million of them out there games, and still 50 of them got sent in. Who is buying Impossible Mission 2? Like,
well, look at it. Look at the they're all 9.4, 9.6, 9.8 basically.
yeah,
So these are
they're all from
essentially
case packs.
all case packs. Yeah.
But man,
And then there's that
some
one
people-
asshole who graded the 8.5.
Yeah. I also, hey Tyler, I just want to just rebut your criticism of talking about a game and then its number. Isn't that what this whole fucking episode is about?
yeah, but like the interesting things,
Oh,
like
I
we have a
can't
reason.
believe
We're not
you
just like
throwed out
Destination
names and then
Earthstar
talking about
guys.
a number.
26. Like we're talking about Impossible Mission 2, a game that there's a lot of copies out there, so it's interesting to talk about its number.
Oh,
Thousands-
so that's an
thousands upon
interesting
thousands.
fact. But yeah. Oh, yeah. Unless you guys have any more games and numbers you'd like to talk about, can we move on? Fucking asshole. God.
No, Stefan, you said it. Man, why is no one buying the junk? And also, it's because everybody knows it's junk, but you could go on eBay and get a $200 copy of fucking Hudson Hawk, and it's a single-digit pop game. I'm doing my hands that I'm being sarcastic because who fucking cares about Hudson Hawk?
Yeah.
But like, if you're one of these sports card guys who's like, there's none of this stuff out there, all of it's going to the moon, go pick up the shit like Hudson Hawk. Guarantee it's going to be relatively low pop forever.
I don't understand why someone doesn't just like search for sealed NES, buy it now, sort from price starting at lowest, and just like snipe everything that's under $200.
Well, Stefan, everything under $2,000. Whoever's got the money to buy the Super Mario 64 for 1.5 million, like either that person had fuck money or the underbidder just had fuck money. So instead of doing that to manipulate the market, buy out every single game that's under like $1,000 and just see what happens. Like maybe the market will fill up with garbage again, or maybe it'll cause a panic and people think like, oh my God, it's happening. Everyone has finally started to hoard the sealed games. We got to hoard all this shit. It's my market manipulation tip for anyone who's really rich out there.
Nice.
Thanks. Good one, Tyler. Good tip.
Good tip.
Yeah, I don't have anything else. So there was round balls at Pop Zero, and one sold buy it now for like $100 2 weeks before the Pop report dropped. It was like November 16th. And I so wanted to find a conspiracy of like a bunch of like zero pop and low pop games sold. And like someone had advanced access to the data and sniped all the good shit off eBay. I was unable to find a conspiracy. I really tried for you. Maybe the only conspiracy game was Roundball. Someone got the Pop report and they're like,
you know who says that they couldn't find a conspiracy? Someone who's neck deep in a conspiracy. Tyler.
Yeah, that
What
would
are
be
you
the way
doing,
to
Tyler?
like, you know, shuffle off any blame that might.
Tyler is absolutely misdirecting right now.
Absolutely.
I mean, I did buy a complete and box copy of Roundball. Maybe it's to go with my new sealed copy of Roundball.
I couldn't find any evidence of a conspiracy, so you should definitely take me on my word.
Oh, I've got a story, a bad story. There was a guy on like Reddit, I think, who had maybe it was Facebook. It was a Facebook Marketplace post, and he didn't know what to price his sealed magician at, and he was going to sell it for like $200 to $400. He was going to use like the price charting price, and there was like a shark that was chomping at the bit to get it. And I messaged him, and I'm like, "You fucking idiot! Do not sell that fucking magician. Are you out of your mind? That game is so rare." And I'm happy it's a Pop Zero because I definitely saved that guy. All right. That's my story, John.
I'm glad you're out there for the people.
I'm out there for the people. I'm not one of these people who's like, oh my God, this guy's got a fucking sealed magician. I'm going to give him $500 for it. Oh, fucking got him. Because I'm not going to pay $500 for a fucking copy of Magician, but I can save him from selling it to someone else.
That was nice of you, Tyler. Good job.
Go get those Magicians, guys. Cool game that is one of those like pro sport hockey games that people are like always fucking missing at the end. Do people care about set collecting still, John? I don't know.
No.
Okay.
Not for these sets. You want to start talking about Wii and Wii U? People are hot on the Wii U.
You wanted to make an episode about that.
I do. I want to talk about people collecting for the Wii U right now.
Is it really hot?
It's heating up.
Huh.
I'm not kidding. I don't fully understand it, but it is happening. I don't want to get into it yet because I don't have enough data yet. But
prepare for the upcoming Wii U episode, everybody.
Yeah, by buying all them Wii U games, get them before they're on the Pop report. That's all I'm saying.
The Pop report, do we affect the market more than the Pop report? I mean, obviously, someone bought like $6,000 Marble Madness and all that. Was that because of the Pop report, or did someone just really feel like buying a Marble Madness today?
No way.
I do not know. We don't affect the market.
I know.
It doesn't happen.
No way. We're huge influencers, Johnny.
We are.
What do we even talk about?
Well, you know what? We could be since the market is like 10 people,
right?
Like, if we could just get those 10 people in our pocket, we could influence the whole market.
When the market is infinitely small, it's not hard to be an influencer.
All right, well, get after it then, please. Let us know how it goes.
We're influencing right now as we speak.
We are. Someone.
I always think about that guy who messaged. I think he messaged you, Johnny, and said that he takes notes.
Oh yeah, there's a couple of people who take notes.
Yeah.
Please look at the Pop data yourself. Don't take notes.
Although definitely take us up on our scheme to just buy all the garbage and then at Tyler and I because we want to know.
Buy everything rare. What are you doing? Someone go buy that Faria. I don't know what a Faria sells for on NES. There's one copy, complete in box, 0 in solds. Did no one get this data and they're like, oh shit, Faria's really rare, and now even people who don't know anything know Faria's really rare without having to do any work. No one panics? I'm just over here buying my round ball. Am I the only one who did that?
You do that.
I mean, Faria is a game that I was like, there was a hunt for Faria back in the day. People know about Faria.
Yeah. It's a cool game. And there's one copy for it's like not in the best condition. It was like a little bit better, I would consider it.
Yeah, yeah, it's not great.
Someone buy it. We're hyping it. Collector's Quest market manipulation right here. Someone buy this Varia. It's got the baggie.
There you go. All right. On that note, gentlemen, anything else you want to say on games that have titles and numbers by them?
Someone submit that Crazy Creatures. Where's the Crazy Creatures, Johnny? Pop Zero.
Oh, I don't know.
It probably just doesn't exist. I don't know. No, I've got nothing, Johnny.
All right. Guys, we're going to move on from this then. For anyone asking why we didn't look at the CIB stuff, I mean, it's all sample data. It's not much is there, so we don't want to touch on that yet. There's not a whole lot to look at.
Yeah, there's like 6 games.
Take a look for yourself if you want to see what's going on with that. Because I saw some people being like, what's going on CIB? And then someone's like, look at the tab, dummy. And you're just like, well, there's not really anything there. That might be why they're asking. So rather than be a jerk about it, just there's not much there. That's why. All right. Guys, let's go to the collector's question of the show. Tyler.
We just get one?
Well, one or two.
Game Rave TV asks, if language was not a barrier and you could read, hear, and understand completely any import library, what library would you jump into first? Personally, I'd play all the Japanese RPGs we never got here on PlayStation. Oh, what a surprise. Game Rave would play the PlayStation games. Or finally play through Samurai Showdown RPG on Neo Geo CD. Stefan.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
I think
your library answer is one game?
No, his real answer was PS RPGs. And no. That I was saying Game Rave was also saying Samurai Showdown RPG.
Oh, okay. I thought that was your answer.
You think I would pick Neo Geo CD, me as the library?
I was very confused.
Yeah, for I mean, it's low hanging fruit, but it's sort of similar to his answer too. But it would be the NES library. But there's so many. Well, maybe Super Famicom. You know what? No, I lied. Super Famicom. It would be all the Super Famicom RPGs. Like I'm real into that Super Famicom. So there, I mean, or even not even just RPGs, but just that library in general. There's so many Super Famicom games that I would love to play that are not horse racing games, because there's a lot of those too. But I have no interest in horse racing games.
You're winning whatever, what is it? Winning Post 96 or whatever?
Yeah. So yeah, Super Famicom, more specifically though, the RPGs for sure.
Like Winning Post 96. Got it. Johnny?
Wow. I'd probably go with the N64. Nope. No. Well, Stefan already said Super Nintendo, so behind that I would be looking at the Sega Saturn Japanese library, because there's a lot of cool stuff there that I would like to play and wish I could.
My first instinct was PC Engine, just because I collect PC Engine, and there's so many RPGs that I can't play. But at the same time, like, I'm not like a guy who's always playing 16-bit RPGs, so I don't think I would really play them. So I will say the PC 88 guys, old Japanese computer, for the reason that I look up a lot of these old, weird, obscure Japanese computer games, and there'll be like sites like Hardcore Gaming 101 that translate and play a lot of them. And there are some games that I come across these blog posts where people go through all these obscure games, and there will be games that are like, I don't know enough Japanese to play this. I literally could not get anywhere in this game, and I want to know what those games are. So
why not something good like the MX2 or something?
Yeah, I was gonna say the MSX would be interesting as well.
I mean, do I need to? Like, I'm thinking of what MSX games I would need to play that aren't just like translation.
You don't know. That's a thing. You don't know.
Like,
Saturn
MSX has a lot of like arcade style games. Like I could play a lot of those. Like Saturn, what's on Saturn?
That like no one knows anything about. You're just like, here's a weird obscure Tyler answer.
If a game really matters, people make a translation patch for it. People make translation patches for the dumbest shit that no one cares about. I played a translated copy of Deep Dungeon 4 on the Famicom. Who the fuck cares about the Deep Dungeon series? That game also sucks. Who translated it? I don't know, but it was translated. People just translate shit. I would have said Famicom because I like Famicom, but again, like, not my favorite era of RPGs, and like, I guess there's adventure games, and I don't know, just doesn't seem like the stuff I'd play.
Fair enough.
All right. What's your favorite? This is from Sam M. What's your favorite thing about collecting for the Atari 2600?
I don't understand the question.
Is it the prices, guys?
I love it. Johnny has walked away. He's not even there.
I'm letting you guys talk. I have an answer. My favorite thing about collecting.
How colorful they look on the shelf.
Okay.
My favorite thing about collecting for the 2600 is, and I've bought a couple of 2600 games recently, is that I got to actually buy like the first games that I ever actually played and like picked for myself. That's my favorite thing about collecting for it. Generally, I dislike it, but the ones I bought, the reasons I bought them, is because, they have they set me on my video game path. Whether they're good or not, they were the forerunners of me doing everything I did later with video games. So that's my favorite part.
I think my answer would probably you probably figure it out, but Atari's got some really awesome box art, and in a time when they had to sell their game on the box because they didn't have the fidelity to deliver an experience to you that was that compelling. They had some really great box art, so like that's some of my favorite box art. Some of my favorite box art is on Atari. Like the Defender box art is a big one for me.
Well, the box art was like the first way you started playing the game, right? Like you saw what they did with the art, and then you took that whatever your imagination was doing, and then brought that
filled
into
in the blanks. You sure did. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's not something that you even have to do anymore. That's like that in and of itself is a lost piece of this hobby and this and just like the love of gaming. Like you just don't have to do that anymore. Exactly that they can essentially deliver you whatever they want to put on the box. So
wait, you don't like all these box arts with guy holding a gun, Stefan? Are you saying that this is a lost art? wait, hold on. Let me update this. What if it's guy holding a gun and there's a little bit of blue and a little bit of orange?
Yeah, that's right. Or I like the mobile icons make me laugh a lot because it's always guy screaming. That is every popular mobile game is their icon is guy screaming.
Tyler, what's your favorite part?
I mean, obviously Atari games are short. I've said it before because I got into Mountain King. I was playing a lot of Mountain King. I'm the world's leading expert on Mountain King, guys. Not true. I like that even if I don't like an Atari game, I can pretty much fucking have a conversation about it if I play it. So, Blackjack, and is it just called Slots? There's definitely it might be called Fruit Machine, I forgot. But like, I have played those dumbass games. They have literally 5 seconds of gameplay. I know everything there is to know about it, and I've barely played it. And like, I don't think you could do that if you play through Musha once. I don't think you have the Musha experience. If you play through Atari Blackjack for 1 minute, I think you pretty much know what the game is. I like that aspect of it.
I like that these games have so little to offer that after 10 seconds, I can tell you all about it.
Not all about it, because again, I think a game like Mountain King you could dive a lot deeper into than if you just played it for 20 minutes. But
Johnny, I really like to be able to be an expert on something that I don't have to spend any time with.
The internet is the right place for you, Tyler.
I think, no, that's not the point. It's harder to have wrong opinions. Like, that's a bad thing to say, wrong opinions. Friday the 13th. We talked about Friday the 13th.
Wrong opinions.
How many people played Friday the 13th for a fucking hour, had no idea what to do, and they're like, this game sucks. Also, the angry video game nerd says it sucks. That doesn't happen with Atari games because they're so much easier to understand. Everyone just says they suck anyway because they're Atari games.
We understand what you mean. We are just teasing you.
I
get
like people message me on Instagram and like they're so mean to you, Tyler.
Yeah. It used to be me. People used to say that.
Yes.
Johnny. People used to say that Johnny's mean to me. You're the new.
I did call you a fucking asshole in the middle of this episode, so maybe I am. I love you, Tyler. I'm super nice outside of the podcast, though.
You are.
I don't know. I'm proved out by my actions, so I guess I'm mean to you. I'm sorry, Tyler. I'll work on it in the new year.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Any more questions? We good here? We moving on, Tyler?
Should I buy this Faria? I guess a bunch of Faria box onlys have sold, so it's not as rare complete in box as.
No, and that box is not nice. The top is scrunched. It's got.
I know. And
I hate when the top is creased.
Yeah, I keep my tops out to save space. So.
Me too.
But also,
that's why I can't have
not,
creased
like,
tops.
the big condition guy. Yeah, all right, fuck Faria. Fuck Faria. I would eventually have to spend $300 on a map, but I'm not going to do that.
Yep.
Got to have the mappers not complete, guys.
All right. So, did you want to answer another question?
Oh my God! Never mind. We're going to answer another question. Let's go.
We can do another question.
I asked if you wanted to.
My mom asks. My mom. This is Retro Game Enthusiast. My mom asks, "Do you have anything in your collection you love that you would have hated when you first started collecting?" Damn, Retro Game Enthusiast's mom coming in with the good questions.
I really hope his mom did ask that question.
I mean, she must have, right? It's a generic question.
I got really excited for it because at first I thought Tyler was saying that it was from his mom, and I will answer questions from Tyler's mom all day. It's weird when you always have to like put Tyler's mom and how excited you are. I mean,
it makes me uncomfortable. Nope, stop. Kids listen to this show. Please stop.
I can be excited more than one way.
Okay, that's true, but that's not what you meant. Gross.
That's between me and Tyler's mom.
Oh, God. Tyler, I'm sorry. This is me trying to be nice to you, and it's not working out because Stefan is being mean to you.
My mom talks to me, and she's like, Stefan is so nice. And she posts on Stefan's Facebook wall. She wished him a happy birthday. Like,
I know. She's great.
Johnny, what would you have hated that you have? What was the question? What do you love that you would have hated when you started collecting?
Usually it's the opposite. Usually, like I hate stuff that I bought at the beginning, and got rid of.
That's what makes this a more interesting question.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Maybe a couple of my Atari games. But I probably wouldn't have hated them, but I would have felt less good. Let's go. Let's drive it back to. I love all the sealed games I have now, but I hated them when I first bought them. Because now I know how much money they're worth. Yes, let me adjust my monocle for a moment as I count my money. Yes.
Hey, did VGA even exist when we started collecting? When did VGA start? 2008? Am I remembering that right?
I mean, who you saying we to? Because if you're asking me, it was definitely because I didn't come on until 15, 14.
Okay. I thought VGA was around like 2008. But I have I have 2 VGA games, and I definitely would have thought that was the dumbest shit ever when I started collecting, because that's what everybody thought. And most people still do.
They're not wrong.
And still is. Yes.
Do you want to know what VGA has, though, that other graded companies don't have? Square boxes.
I was going to say clean boxes that aren't like scuffed on the inside.
I do love their boxes.
I mean, I just like boxes you can stack and get on shelves without being ridiculous. Anyways.
Stefan, what's your answer to the question?
Honestly, I know Johnny had said it kind of tongue in cheek, but like when I first started collecting, I was like, anything that wasn't a card only video game was dumb to me. Like I was like, I'm gonna go, like, my childhood looked like a pile of gray squares, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to take back my childhood. That's like all I was interested in. I thought even like people collecting complete in box were dummies. So literally anything in my game room right now that's not a cart only game, when I started collecting, I would have thought was absolutely stupid.
I mean, I collected card only, but I didn't hate complete in box. Like,
no, I didn't hate it, but it was just like I didn't understand. I thought it was the dumbest thing to like spend a premium on manuals and boxes.
My answer would be all of my complete N64 games, my Xbox set, and anything newer than the 2000s, because, oh my god, did I think all that shit nobody would ever fucking care about and is all super dumb.
You still do.
And N64 and Xbox are still super dumb. But like, if I told my like 2006 self, like, oh yeah, we bought this this copy of I don't know, Banjo-Tooie, and we paid $100 for it, they would just look at me like, what the fuck are you talking about? So
That's true.
Yeah, man, N64 was garbage, Johnny. Why can't we go back?
I don't know. Shall I tell you how I got my big box Tarzan in a lot of games that I paid under $100 for?
Jumbone just posted one of those on Instagram. God, those are so
was
cool.
So
it
was
so
the
nice.
nicest I've seen of it too.
Speaking of Jonebone, shout out to Jonebone for his brand new listing on eBay, a sealed copy of The White Man Can't Jump on VHS for $219.99.
Sealed VHS it's going to the moon, guys.
You what I hope my answer to this question isn't in 15 years? Sealed VHS.
No,
VHS.
Stop it. You don't even buy regular VHS. How can you care about sealed ones if you don't care about the format?
I'm saying in 15 years, I hope this, like, it could start in 5 years. I just hope that in 15 years, my answer isn't sealed VHS.
I mean, I have
also, Tyler, it's a joke. It's a joke, Tyler.
No, it's not. There's a future, Johnny, where you're like, I just bought the Star Wars trilogy because, they're my favorite movies. I just bought Batman 1989. It's just going to be framed on the wall.
No, I don't have those feelings. Look, I'm hitting my middle age right now. At 43. You know what I'm looking at right now? You know what? I'll tell you in our buying and selling, because we should transition to that part of the show.
Excellent idea. Buying and selling. We're going to talk about my sales. I just sold a bunch of coins.
Buying. Yeah, we are. This episode, we are going to talk about buying and selling because Tyler sold some stuff.
Wait, did he really?
Also, what are we playing? I will go into it later. Tyler, since you brought it up, what are you buying? What are you selling? And did you play anything?
Well, man, we're actually bringing up selling. I sold coin sets, Johnny. I haven't sold on eBay in seriously a bunch of stuff in 10 years, maybe. I'm getting back in the swing of it. I'm going to start listing stuff, 30 things every Saturday. And no, there's nothing interesting. People are like, oh my God, you're selling stuff? You're getting out of it? Is it happening? No, I have a bunch of fucking coins and shit around the house that I need to get rid of. Who cares? Who cares about my coins? I can't believe
how much have you made? How much have you made? Is that money going back into video games?
Oh God, 100%. Well, all right. So this first round, I could easily say that I bought a couple nice things for myself. But other than that, I've got some gold and silver, just that my grandfather had, and I'm just selling it and putting it into my Vanguard account because I don't understand owning gold and silver. If I look at the price that my grandfather paid for it compared to what it's worth now, it has a little more than doubled compared to the stock market, which has gone up 10 times since that. So I don't understand. The gold and silver doesn't appeal to me. So I'm moving that money over to my stocks, Johnny.
Okay.
Stonks.
So what'd you buy? What are some games you bought? I know you've been posting some good stuff.
I have been posting good stuff. I don't even know if I'm going to talk about that because I'm looking on eBay, Johnny. But I just got in the mail today a big box Half-Life 2, which I've been looking for. I don't know if it came out in America. It has an ESRB logo on it. It might have only came out in Southeast Asia. But whatever. I don't care. It's the big one. I want the big one. Johnny, I got a first print of Myst, which was on the Mac, and it has this little film banner in the top left and comes in a 2-piece box rather than a flip-top box.
Nice.
I kept seeing people on the big box group. They find it at a thrift store for $15, and they're like, "This store's asking $15 for this first print Mac Myst." I'm like, "Well, just buy it and send it to me. God damn, I just want it." I don't know how rare it is. Considering how many copies I've seen people pass on since I've been looking for it, I don't think it's that rare, but I'm happy to have it. Also, in that Instagram photo, I posted my sealed PC first print of Myst, which I got this year for $30, and within 20 minutes of posting it, someone offered me $1,500.
That's right. Didn't you just hear me? I'm like, I'll give you $1,500.
Oh, okay. Yeah, is this what happens when people post sealed games? You guys just immediately get offers all the time? Is that what the sealed game Instagram is?
I don't post sealed games.
No, I know, but I'm putting that question out there. I mean, it's the Wata episode. Someone's listening to this who posts sealed games all the time. Are you just constantly getting offers in your inbox unsolicited?
Let us know. Any other good stuff?
You probably don't want to hear about my 1979 Sublogic Apple II animation package.
You're right, we don't.
Do you want to hear about Indianapolis 500, the simulation for PC? It's a historic sim racing game. It was $5.
So
you know
historic.
what? I've never brought this up on the show. I was so excited. No one gave a shit on Instagram. I quote unquote completed my Samurai Warrior collection. So they made an Usagi Yojimbo game on like ZX Spectrum, Amstrad CPC, and Commodore 64 in Europe.
They sure did.
And I love the story of it because it's who made Beam Software. They were just guys sitting around the office coding Commodore games or whatever the fuck you do in English computer development. And they just had Usagi Yojimbo comics around the office. And they're like, we love this thing. This is great. Let's make a video game. And they just went and got the license and they made a video game. And I got all 3 versions of it along with a Spanish variant. And no one gives a shit. No one cares about Usagi Yojimbo.
That is not true.
Stefan does because he
Ninja
appears
Turtle
in
enthusiasts.
Yeah, I was gonna say he is on Ninja Turtles, so
yeah,
people care.
Maybe if it was sealed, it'd be worth $20,000. That'll beat a number 2 book. You got one of those, Stefan?
I did. Sold it.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Comics are so much cooler than games. Come on, you saw that pop for Action Comics 1. I got Ada got mad at me for I bought I'll bring up something more interesting than fucking Math Blaster. I got that's the other thing on Instagram. I got Ultima 6, the pre-order version, maybe the first real special edition game in the US. Probably not. But basically, if you pre-ordered Ultima 6 directly from Origin Systems, Richard Garriott and the artist of the box would sign your box. And then he also included a cassette tape where he talked about the history of Ultima. It's pretty fucking cool.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, 1990. Not a lot of special editions came out before 1990 that were actually special editions and they didn't just write it on the box and didn't mean anything. So if you know of any special edition, any console, computer, anything that came out before 1990, please let me know.
Is that it? You good?
That's what I bought. You want to hear what I played, Johnny?
I do. Is it Metroid? Because why didn't you play Metroid?
I didn't play Metroid. Johnny, let me tell you, and Stefan, you're here too. Let me tell you about the worst game. Just the worst game. Let me tell you about how I've been playing RuneScape.
Why are you going to tell me about how you were playing RuneScape and it's the worst game, and then why you didn't just play Metroid?
Yeah, well, I played something else too, but I was just sitting around the house with an earbud in one ear, listening to myself cutting wood. It was a task that I have to go tap every 5 minutes. So I just constantly have a ticking sound in one ear while I'm doing other shit around the house. And every time the ticking sound stops, I have to go over to my phone and tap it. It's been a really exciting game, let me tell you. But also, I played Roll Cage Redux. Do you guys know what Roll Cage is?
No.
Oh, man. Okay, so Roll Cage is a 90s racing game, and it was a PC game. It was also ported to PlayStation. It's kind of similar to Wipeout. The gimmick is that you can, like those Tyco RC cars, you can roll onto the roof of your car and just keep going because the wheels touch on either side, which is a super dumb gimmick because you would never want to do that because that would slow you down. Besides the point, the original developer of Roll Cage has a website where he has fixed a bunch of bugs in the game and updated it to work with modern versions of Windows. And he literally just has like a pirated copy of the game you could go download. It's called Roll Cage Redux. Nobody report this guy to Sony, but you can go download it. Like, my controller worked out of the gate, works on Windows 10 out of the gate. It was all perfect, looks amazing. So you can go get an amazing pirated version of Roll Cage if anyone is in the Roll Cage fam out there. But no one is. It's okay.
I mean, it's neat it exists.
Yeah, I like it. He worked on it for like a year. I don't know who would do that as a job and then be like, as my hobby, I'm just going to go fix up this game and make it modern. I guess it was a passion project, but I sure wouldn't do that with my work.
Yeah, well, maybe one of these days you'll play something like Metroid.
Was Metroid good, Johnny?
I've only played like 2 hours of it.
Oh, wow.
My whole family got sick. So then I was taking care of everybody. Like, had to make Thanksgiving dinner by myself and Yeah, it's been great. It's been great here.
Oh, so you can have a sad
they all
excuse for not really playing Metroid.
Yeah, it was literally like wife and child with fevers. I thought they had COVID for a bit. We had to go get them tested because I was like, wow, you got all the symptoms. But all the symptoms for any sickness is the symptoms for COVID. So whatever. So they had to be tested, but they were all fine. And except for, just being very sick. So now my wife is on antibiotics and JD he's on the mend. He's recovering and feeling a lot better. No more fevers for him. But my wife is still not great. So that's why I didn't play it. I mean, whatever. That's life. Happens. Kids get sick. Wives get sick. And sometimes that means you can't play video games like an adult. Sucks.
But you still bought stuff.
I did buy some stuff, which I'll tell you about. But it did mean we got to lay around in bed and like watch He-Man and stuff. So that was cool. No complaints there. I bought a couple of things. Hey guys, you want to get really disinterested in what I bought real quick? Here you go. Let me tell you about Garfield that I bought for the PS2.
Oh, all right. So Stefan, just tell us about art or something. I didn't know this game. Oh.
So
what?
Garfield World Tour, our Lasagna World Tour, came out in America, but it's not the first Garfield on the PS2. And Tyler, you got to love that Garfield, just the game Garfield, is the first 3D Garfield. It's historic. You got to love that.
That sounds pretty historic.
Yeah, it's on the PS2, but it was so terrible that it was only released in Europe, didn't even get released in Japan. Largely got panned. Not like lasagna is panned. This panned in a bad way. There's your lasagna joke. And then there's another Garfield that came out only in the UK and Japan. And that one's Garfield called Saving Arlene. If you don't know Arlene, that is Garfield's girlfriend. That's like the long-necked weird pink cat. Some people think that's Nermal. That is not Nermal. Nermal's the one that Garfield mails to Abu Dhabi. Nermal is the girlfriend. So there you go. And then I had a nice conversation wishing how any Garfield game actually followed the holiday specials. And like you had a Garfield holiday special game where you played through the holiday specials. Because that would be way cooler. Because if Garfield holiday specials aren't part of your routine in the holidays, I don't know what you're doing. To me, these are holiday purchases. So yeah, I bought 3 Garfield games because it's the holidays.
Johnny, I would like to correct you on one of your Garfield games. Garfield, the 2004 game, was released in America on PC for some reason.
Oh, sorry. I meant on consoles.
But the PS2 version was released a week earlier, so that first print is on PS2.
The first prints are all our console games. These were ported to the PC.
I don't know if that's how it works, but
it was in these cases. I also bought some like pretty good stuff. Hey, Tyler, you know how you bought the Mist? You bought Mist?
You bought the Mist? What are you talking?
You bought Mist, and I bought the Mist.
Oh, okay. Whoa, what a connection.
See what? Also for the Apple II.
Whoa, you're searching for Apple II games on eBay?
Yeah, because you told me this existed, and I was like, holy shit, the Mist exists? And let me tell you, it is like my treat of the year. What a good buy this was. So thank you for letting me know it was out there. It gets to go in my horror games. The Mist, and also I got it like right on my anniversary. And The Mist is a movie that my wife and I watched on our honeymoon. So that was like a cool little connection right there for me. Also, the dude put hand-drawn maps in there and notes.
Nice.
I love when I get that stuff. He also had the receipt in there. Oh, so good. I love when you get all that stuff. So I was just like, look at this little treasure trove that I'm getting. So that was, I bid real hard at that too, Tyler, just so you know.
I'm happy
it went for like $61 and I think it was like 75 shipped and everything. But I think cause I didn't know, and there's not a lot of good sales day. I think I bid like 200 at it. I was just like, I'm winning this game. I just put a big FU bid on this one.
I mean, that makes sense because who knows what Apple II games are fucking worth. There's no price charting for that stuff.
Yeah, so I got that. And I bought Happy Feet for the GameCube. These are my purchases. Whew. Happy Feet for the GameCube because I didn't have the movie ticket variant. There's a movie ticket variant for those who don't know. There you go. And like I said, I played a little Metroid, but not as much as I'd like. All right, did it. Woo! Stefan, hey, tell us about all the games you played. Is it World of Warcraft?
No, I actually did play a game that I significantly recommend. But first, I'm going to talk about what I bought, because I bought some board games. If you want to hear about board games, because I'm on a board game kick.
No,
but you want to talk about like Magic Realm from Avalon Hill, first edition rules? No.
No.
Well, how about the first print of Shark Attack?
Whoa, the first print was Shark Attack? I don't know.
I thought you were downsizing your video game or your board game collection.
I do, and then I find stuff that I really like the first edition of Robo Rally, which I have every other edition that they ever printed, and I really like that game a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've just been.
What's the best edition of Talisman?
None.
Probably second edition.
What are you talking
about? I did buy. I FOMO'd the Mythic tier of Hero Quest as well. That was the big, like monetarily the big one that I bought.
That you bought like a year ago and you just got, right?
No. This was I missed out on their campaign, so I legit like FOMO'd one from eBay.
Oh wow! Okay.
Wow,
yeah.
You did it. Yeah, my cousin just got that, and I'm excited to see what it looks like.
See, you did want to talk about board games.
I mean, not really.
I also played the new Guardians of the Galaxy game, which was excellent. Probably the most fun that I've had. Not necessarily the best game, but the most fun I've had with a game in a very long time.
Did you get it because it was $15?
I did not. I paid full up for it.
You should go and price match it, because I think it's still $15 right now.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it was during the Black Friday sales and stuff. I also bought some like Black Friday stuff.
Highly recommend.
Yeah? Absolutely. Highly recommend?
Highly recommend.
All right. If you highly recommend it.
I do. So yeah, that's what I bought and played.
We did it. You bought a video game. Congrats.
I did. Even though it was really, really modern.
Is it a physical video game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, couch. Sorry, I'm in.
All right. Cool. Anything else, guys? Did we do it?
We did it. The emergency episode. I bet we get 50 more people who don't normally listen to Collector's Quest listen to this episode. Probably not even that many.
I hope so. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys. I bought Resident Evil: The Village. I bought a modern game with the Steelbook because I got that Xbox now. So
do you keep the game in the Steelbook, or is it a bonus Steelbook?
It's a bonus Steelbook, and I wanted to get you guys' opinion on this. How do you guys feel about bonus Steelbooks? I'm out on bonus Steelbooks. If they're packed in with the game, it's cool, but like having to buy it separately or getting it extra it's like not included in the packaging at all. It's just like floating around.
It's the worst. It might as well be a fucking coin. I'm never going to put my games in it.
Exactly.
Why does it exist? The Pokemon bundles on Switch where you buy like the 2 games and get a Steelbook, just put the games in the Steelbook.
I'm with you.
What the fuck? What is the purpose? Oh! All right. We got to end this before.
I'm happy I brought it up because I feel the exact same way. Stefan, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, no, if it's not packed in with the game. It's the same thing with like the boutique-y game companies that we've talked about previously where they'd ship out the game and then just give you a box of crap separately.
Like,
no, thank you.
Shit.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah. But anyways, It came with I got the new Xbox, so I went and bought this so I can have a game to like test out on it. Anyways, got Resident Evil Village.
Psychonauts 2.
I want Psychonauts 2. Did they release a physical of that, or was that download only?
I think it's download only. Don't quote me. I think there will likely be a limited version of that.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be. Because Psychonauts, if you guys are out on Psychonauts, you're ridiculous. Psychonauts is great. The best.
I didn't play Psychonauts 2 yet. I think Psychonauts is a good game. The gameplay might be a little overrated. Don't tell anyone.
Shut
up. Guys, the new Carl Jobst video dropped while this podcast is going. Do you want to live watch it?
Nope.
All
right. There's another sad one about how like he's being sued and has cancer and stuff. Because
why would I bring up a random Carl Jobst video? It is The thumbnail is, "This is illegal. The scam continues." And there's a copy of Super Mario Brothers.
I'm going to watch it.
Oh, yeah, we're watching that.
Soon as we stop this, I'm going to watch it.
Oh, man. I don't really care. That.
What, Stefan? Why does Johnny pretend not to care about the drama? We're about the drama here on Collector's
We are about
Quest.
the drama.
You guys are about the drama. I'm here to buy games, guys. I'm a simple man. Buy my Garfield holiday games, okay? Like the other thing I didn't tell you about, like I finally bought that fucking Castle Grayskull. I did it. It's not here yet though, but I caved. It took like 6 years.
I just processed it. Like complete in box, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, that's so much cooler than a first edition fucking Shark Attack. That's awesome.
Shut up. You shut up.
Well, Shark Attack is stupid, so this is
Shark
a low
Attack
bar.
is great. Plus, the box art for Shark Attack is amazing.
The box art for Shark Attack is not better than the Castle Grayskull box art. He-Man box art, like
He-Man box art is very good. Very good.
It's
yes.
like just ridiculous. If you want to get art pieces, man, original He-Man art is just like top-notch fantasy art. It's so good.
Is it
so
out there?
good?
Is it? Is that acquirable?
What, He-Man art?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure the He-Man people already have it. I mean, the show is ancient.
Yeah, and it'll be a hard search. Sure are a lot of cells.
Yeah, I mean, you can get a lot of the Filmation cells because they did so many episodes. But like the box art is so much different. Man, I'm trying to do another special edition where I talk to the guy who reviews all the He-Man toys. I'm hoping I can get him. I think he's too big for us. I don't think he's going to take an offer from a random guy with podcast. I'm like, hey, you want to talk about collecting He-Man with me? He's probably not going to. So.
There are some really nice animation cells though on eBay.
Yeah, the animation cells, like I said, though, the art for the animation is a lot different than like the fantasy art they drew for it, and the figures are even different. They did this whole line of He-Man toys that are called, they're Club Grayskull, but they're like the Filmation line, and the characters finally look like they did in the cartoons, and I'm in love with them. I'm sad I missed them because now they're all kind of expensive. Like, damn it, I missed it. I don't want to spend $200 on a He-Man toy, but I kind of do.
What? How much was Castle Grayskull? Did you say? I'm sure it's more than $200.
Oh yeah, Castle Grayskull was like $500.
Yeah, that could be worse considering it's like the premier toy of the 80s for a certain kid.
Yeah, no, this is like one of the best toys I ever had. There's a few like box sets that like rank in my all time. It's like Castle Grayskull, Ewok Village set, like they're like for like big toys. Those were it. And then like a couple of my G.I. Joe things were like the big toys in my Voltron of like huge toys that I had. But we're going to save that because that's going to be an After Dark episode. Tyler, I have questions for you.
Oh!
All right.
End it.
That's it for the show. Stefan, tell the people where they can find you since it's been so long since you've been on.
Art of Nintendo Power, basically everywhere. Just Google that shit. I'll be the first thing you find. Art of Nintendo Power on Google.
Do you want to tell them about your charity thing, or is that over already?
No, the Giving Tuesday is today, being Tuesday. But I did set up a taking donations for my nonprofit for the my art nonprofit. So if you want to donate to that, you can hit me up. But my next show is going to be the SoCal Retro Gaming Expo in February. So if you want to come see the Art of Nintendo Power, that display will be much larger, actually, than the last time you saw it, if you saw it. And so I'm going to have some things that some folks have never seen before. I'm getting framed up specifically for that show. So exciting. But yeah, interactive art collection. If you want to search for that too, it's Twitter is the best place to find me for that. But yeah, just art of Nintendo Power, all of the places.
All right, and Tyler,
I'm Default GEN. Wait, Default Gen, Default GEN. Then I spell it. Video Game Sage and Instagram are good places to find me, or just Discord. I guess I'm in a bunch of these game collecting Discords. I guess you could message me on Discord. Who's on Discord? Yeah. I don't know.
You could even find them on our Discord that you can get to if you are a member of our Patreon, which you can do for as little as $2 or as much as $6, but really $4 is the sweet tier where you get the bonus After Dark content that we messaged. Only if you can afford it. Don't stretch yourself on us if you have other things that like you should not overinvest if you can't. We appreciate you just listening. So that's it, but you can find us there. It's on patreon.com/collectorsquest. And you can find me there on our Discord. You can find me on our Patreon, and you can find me on Instagram at Johnny_Iucci. That's IUCCI. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. I hope you enjoyed me calling Tyler a fucking asshole. That's our show for tonight. Bye!
Such a rude way to end it. That is our show. Errata for this show. I mean, it took me 2 days to edit this. Now there's more YouTube videos out. There's more than just 2. Also, interesting thing we missed, Robin Mahara on the Facebook pointed out that there is a common version of Pinball. It's one of the more common sealed black box games, but if you ignore the one variant that is, relative to the rest of the stuff common, Pinball is almost as rare as the rest of the black box games. Which we didn't even talk about, but a lot of the black box games are pretty rare sealed, except for like Super Mario Brothers. Guess who has them all? Also, a great point, which would have been an excellent thing to bring up in the beginning of this episode. Bird Dog Gaming put out a YouTube video, and one of the first things he said is, even if you don't give a shit about sealed games, you could just go to this pop report and look up variants, which I didn't even think of. So that would have been a great way to lead into this episode. Excellent idea, Bird Dog Gaming. Thank you to 8-Bit, APE-Bit like the monkey, 8bit.bandcamp.com. He does our intro music. He's got a new 16-bit style chiptune album that's out, 8bit.bandcamp.com. And thank you to our patrons, Richard, patron number 1 Bowden, Canadian Variant Alert, Chris Glidden, Nintendo World Champion, Daniel Jackspick, High-End Collector, Andrew Brim, 50 Hertz is good enough for me, Andre, Ben Parker, a bad enough dude to rescue the president, Video Games Were Meant to Be Slab, Brandon Ackley, Brian Gupta, and Pocky and Rocky with Becky, Mint Condition, Brian J. Mora, the Strictly Limited Super Rare Bruno, Fat Cat Collector, Chris Jackson, Chris SNK, Too Many NES Accessories, Morozek, Johnny's GBA Hookup, Coffee with Mr. Saturn, Playing with Power, Connor Strange, The Last Game You Need for the Set, Corey O'Brien, Unpunched Hang Tab, Dustin Beagle, He Has Returned to Judge This City, Eric Addison, Man of Nintendo in the World of Nintendo, Funky Brewster, The Actual Shinobi, Jasonic the Kid, Jeff the Game Boy Ferris, Red Pyramid Thing, Jonathan Shados, the Nintendo Tape Archivist, Joseph Leo, Lance Lord Hardstyle Z, the Degenerate Matt Ball, Mr. CIB, get your loose Genesis carts out of here! Funkoland Employee, Platform Agnostic, Red the Game Shark, the Famicom Box, Retro Game Enthusiast, okay. SHFFSH, all caps. I've looked this up. It could be a very small film festival, and it could be a name if it wasn't all caps. So I can't make fun of it because I don't want to make fun of someone's name, so I definitely don't want to do that if I make a nickname for you. I found your Instagram. It looks like a bunch of cool people like Platform Agnostic follow you, but I don't know anything about you. So accept me on Instagram, and I'll come up with a nickname for you next episode. Also, you gotta let me know what your name is, because if I say shoosh, and it's actually your name and it has a pronunciation, I don't want to mess that up. Vintage game connoisseur who knows they're better than modern games, the Buzzy, Sean the Gamer Collective, the Newcraft who can beat Mega Man without the pause trick, previously unknown variant, Tim Walker, from the internet, Todd Fisher, Can't Put Limits on Collecting, VG Collectaholic, The Millennium, Will Joe, Keeper of the Zelda variant, 0x Def Code, getting the full PS2 set because Stefan won't, all caps. Wata 9.8, A++ Benji, the actually rare Bird Dog Gaming, Brandon Rogers, whose favorite episode is the wrestling episode, dropping the Mario 64 Penguin off the mat, Brandon Chacker, still finding deals in 2021, Colton Murphy, a winner is him, David Green, Derek Lauer, who made me edit this show, Don Libby, the hero of time, actually understands the Zelda timeline, Jeff Pierce. He is Error, Jeff Russell. Jeremy Jarvis, here for the Pog Talk. Jim Jacobs, world record holder of Best Collection. Joe actually plays his games, Champ Pity. Video game art collector because video games are art, Justin Chichio. Lateral Movement, who's got a Donkey Kong kill screen coming up. Michael, posted in the Discord right now, Chiara Monty. Nick, the video game database, Morgan. Homebrew Mastermind, Divertov. The other guy who collects Korean releases, Peaceful Games. Dungeon Master, Reed Stubenik. The Promoter, Retro RPG Podcast. Tom, Obscure Variant Chaser Chase. Savantorian, he knows all 97 Nintendo games. 32 bits or less, do the math! Andrew, actually collecting N-Gage O. Okay, now we have a problem. Man, this is gonna be a long episode. No one's gonna listen to this, doesn't matter. B-Nugs. I think B-Nugs changed their name on Patreon to Default Gen, Jen. And I feel like it's disrespectful to not honor their wishes of what their chosen name is here. As much as I love B-Nugs, everybody loves B-Nugs. I don't know what to do. It feels weird to say my own online handle. It also feels weird not to say B-Nugs. I think I'm looking at the right person. This is impossible to track on Patreon. I could complain about Patreon and how it gives me you guys' names all day. Default Gen, Jen, Chesno, all your base are belong to him. Colby, he is Sinistar. Corhagen does what Nintendo don't. Daniel McArdle, who thought this was the Retronauts Patreon. The Modern Database, Danny Gomez. The Philatelist, Dork Overlord. My childhood PlayStation idol, Game-Rave.com. Joseph Rogers got 50,000 on Double Dragon. Collector of everything, including Atari, Kalen McAteer, Sam, Sega Mark III Marks, and Sean the Video Game Illuminati LaCroix. Thank you all so much.